Development, yes. These, sustainable. And this country has been talking about sustainable development for centuries, ages, and depicted through our numerous gods and goddesses. It became an inherent, it was driving a point. It was driving a point of sustainable development. And therefore, when you said sustainable development, I was elated. Drives the message. In Indian scenario, I will talk about Indian R&D. Indian R&D, my book really talks about three major issues. One is the faculty. To me, the faculty is the key for any institution. Granted that students are the most important component of any institution. Granted. Because if students are not there, we don't need faculty. So faculty comes to be the most important second component. If the faculty is not there, I don't need administration. Therefore, high quality faculty, high quality students is what I really talk about. The second most important issue is young India. Challenge young India. The third is the 21st century generation, by and large you, who have their own characteristics, we'll see that. So these three issues are what I highlighted because they've been bothering me for the last 30 years. So I talk about everything is centered around young India and 21st century generation. Whether it is a paradigm shift, whether it is, I define a new word called constructivism, which you probably, many of you might have seen. I talk about not only bringing people to learning that we are doing here, I'm talk about taking learning to people. And with 80% of India having this wonderful device called mobile phone, which is a smartphone today, you can do almost everything that you want. Okay? So I talk about all these, but I talk about quality. That is really the focus of my attention, center of excellence. Can you see that? Can you read it? Okay, very good. Because I thought I'll take you, this generation may not know, I shouldn't say does not, may not know what Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's vision for India was. And this is science and technology, so I thought I'll make three statements of his. This is primarily his statements. Science policy resolutions to secure for the people of the country all the benefits that can accrue from the acquisition and application of scientific method. He has been saying every Indian, in India there should be scientific temper. All the thinking is scientific, no superstition. Everything has to be why, how, and what, or what, why, and how. Technology policy resolution. Indian science and technology must unlock the creative potential of our people and help build the India of our dreams. We should ask ourselves, are we able to do that? The third objective of technical education in India, to provide scientists and technologists of the highest caliber who engage in research, design and development. Research, design and development to help build the nation towards self-reliance in its technological needs. These are three weighty statements, and the faculty must assist you in delivering it in the best capacity. Just remember that. Look at the R&D scene of India. Look at each column and the numbers. R&D expenditure per GDP, India is the lowest, 0.8. Look at all the other nations. Look at Israel, that little nation, highest. And this R&D expenditure is reflected in the last column, researchers per million population. 136, India. I put my head in what? Israel 42. Israel 8,000. And this is also reflecting the middle column. The middle column, India, China, and Russia. Expenditure primarily comes from government. Private industry has very, very little role in Indian R&D center. What message does it give? I say it is pathetic. Oh, there is another column there. Engineering PhDs per year. India 1,000, 2006 figure. 10,000 China, I put a question mark on it. United States 5,800. Japan 3,900. South Korea, that little thing, 1,800. A nation of 1.26 billion produces only 136 R&D personnel per million, 1,000 PhDs in engineering. I use the word pathetic. I am responsible. My generation is responsible for that, so I am guilty. But having said I'm guilty doesn't solve the problem. Therefore, what I say, in the next decade, by 2020, we must produce 10,000 PhDs in engineering per year. 60,000, 100,000 masters, MTechs. 2006, we produced 30,000. Measly figure. And we talk about IITs, we talk about as temples of learning. They are insignificant contribution on the whole. 1%, 2%, BTech we produce. 80%, maybe 10%. 80% are produced by private engineering colleges. And therefore your quality goes up and down, topsy-turvy. Therefore you have 80% graduates unemployable. Only 20% graduates are employable. Bad, isn't it? And you all will get a job. Don't worry, you're not in that 80%. Okay? So what do we do? What do we do? The question is, if this is the scenario, what should we do? Please, let's put all our heads together. and come out with a strategy, a pathway, a process to remedy the situation, and it has lots to do with masters and PhDs that we produce. Also, as I said, maybe I said last time, as soon as you enter your first year, start thinking of a project. Because lot of you have tremendous potential. The average Indian has a very high level of inherent intellectual potential. I must take it out and make production use of that. That is my skill. As a teacher, what do I do to bring it out? How do I get the best out of you? That is my challenge. Therefore, R&D is a basis of any nation's development. Easy to say, India is the second largest skilled person power. Very easy to say. We are the most, we get in leading, developed, economically developed, technologically developed. Very easy to say. Implement it. Show it. 9% growth. From 9% growth, we have come down to 4%. Is it the world which is doing it? We are told, hey, globally, 2008 crash is down. Sorry, we're not doing things right. So you are going to remedy that situation. So we need to strengthen your hands. How do we strengthen your hands? I have some basic, I have a graph here which talks about the same. And it is more astounding. I've said that, TAs, teaching assistants, research assistants, postdoctoral fellows, research associates, each institution should be vibrating with that. These MTechs and PhDs are really research assistants and teaching assistants. We don't need faculty to run the labs. I've taken a 4th year student at DIICT, 24th year students were pretty high up, were very good in that. I gave them research teaching assistantship. And mind you, they were better teaching assistants than many of my faculty members. Okay, they had gone through the course and they have done a great job. And the youngsters had a bonhomie with that another youngster. And they learned. In the hostels. You learn not in the classroom. You learn outside the classroom, in the hostel, in tea coffee, in cafe coffee day, or in booths, in informal meetings. That's where you learn. That is what we need to encourage. So, we need to give attractive incentive. My rule of thumb is 40% of assistant professor salaries should be given to MTech and PhD. Nobody will agree with that. I'm really talking about research-led teaching institutions. What is the big asset of faculty? So let me pose a few questions. And it's very good that students and faculty are here. I say quality faculty and leadership. And leadership, by the way. Tremendous lack of leadership in the country. At this young age, I can say a lot of things and get away with it. But I mean it. There is a lack of leadership in the country, whether in academia, or in industry, or in politics. Recruit and retain the highest quality faculty. Believe me, if I recruit the highest quality faculty, they will do everything that management wants to be done. They will be excellent teachers, they will be excellent researchers, they will get funding from companies, I'm talking about private companies, government. They will get the best out, they will, you are a great innovator, you have a fresh mind. You have a fresh mind. It just needs to be catalyzed to get the best out of it. Therefore, I must recruit and retain the best faculty. Retain. Aggressive recruiting with attractive incentives. I have done it, and so I am talking from my own experience. IIT Kanpur, IIT Bombay, DIICT, PDPU, now I am helping some other person. And it is, you got to do aggressive recruiting. It's like marketing. It's like marketing, but healthy marketing. Get the best out of it. Are we able to get the best out of faculty? I don't think so. Because what is called as, there is a motivation, right? All of us are motivated, and in India, we emphasize internal motivation. We emphasize internal motivation. Because I recruit faculty, and probation is 1 year. Therefore, after 1 year, you are all permanent. We are all permanent, including me. I was permanent. So, I relied, the management, or in India, we rely on internal motivation. And my internal motivation, if it is high and sustainable, I will continue working. Unfortunately, it is not sustainable. All other factors come into the picture. Therefore, you need some kind of external motivation. And the external motivation the outside world does is tenure track. Is that the best model? I don't know. Is India the best model? I don't know. We need to do a lot of thinking and research to create a hybrid model. Innovation, research, development, transformational research is coming out of the Western world and in Japan and now in China in a very big way. Singapore, that little thing is talking about attracting a lot of Indian talent. We should be a magnet to attract the best talent in the world. So we should be sucking the best brain from the United States to India. And we are capable of doing that. How do we do it? Innovative programs to create large pool of quality faculty. How do we create quality faculty? Therefore, I say we need to establish something like Center for Academic Excellence and Leadership. Center for Academic Excellence and Leadership, and I'm not going to talk about it, but if somebody is interested, I can elaborate on it. So I talk about academic freedom, because unless you have academic freedom, the best will not come out of you. You will not be able to innovate. Too much of external pressure curtails my creativity. As you have seen, as all of us have seen, our kids, all kids are born creative. But we systematically, at home, in schools, in institutions, we kill creativity. I'm using a very, very strong word. We kill creativity. Otherwise, average Indian is extremely creative. Why? Why? Creativity is this side of the brain, right? This or this? Huh? Left side of the brain. Correct me, okay? Left side of the brain? Okay, yeah. And lateral thinking is required. Lateral thinking. Horizontal thinking. Not vertical thinking of it. We do, most of the time, this fellow is doing vertical thinking. Logic. That's why we are engineers. But you put a little creative thing in it, lateral thinking, my goodness, you will explode in innovation. How do we do that? How do we create lateral thinking? Okay? Let me tell you a story. I love those stories. Let me tell you a story. This is not a question or a quiz of cleaning the fan. Okay? But it has some very interesting analysis. So there was this CEO, Chief Executive Officer of a well-known company. And he had almost everything he can ask for. Everything he can ask for. Well, he had a great house, great number of cars, He had a summer thing somewhere else. He was very highly educated, otherwise he wouldn't become CEO. Kids were doing extremely well. All material things, whatever you can think of, he had, his family had. So one evening, while just thinking loud, he said, "Hey, am I happy? Am I happy?" His inner conscience said, "Sorry, buddy, you're not happy. You're everything, but you're not happy. You're not, so, am I not happy? All right, you got to do something about it." So he goes to a friend of his and says, "Hey, I don't think I'm happy. Can you tell me what to do? Yeah, can you tell me what to do?" So his friend says, "Oh yeah, I know. I have a individual who is called Zen Master. Zen Master, Zen Buddhism. So there is a Zen Master, is like our saint, our sadhu, wise man. Very wise man. So he's up there in that mountain. So would you, maybe you can talk to him. You can have an appointment with him. You can talk to him." So this guy is all of a sudden very happy. He said, I've now got some kind of a handle possibly on happiness. Okay? So he goes, he asks for an appointment, obviously he gets an appointment, the CEO. And so he enters, he's asked to enter his abode. So on the other side, the Zen master comes in,